This in the pledge.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this beautiful day and for all the blessings that we receive from living in this community and for the members of our community and what they do to make it a great place. We ask you to please bless us tonight to make sound decisions and please help us that we can have safety. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Would everyone please rise? Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mariana, to have roll call of council members.
Yes, Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember C. Erickson.
Here.
Councilmember Reeser.
Here.
Council President Walker.
Here. So we do have a quorum. That's good. Now we have a time on our agenda for public comment. Anyone interested that would like to make some comments regarding stuff that is not on the agenda? Like to come up front and state your name and your thing. Is there anyone? Anyone online? Does not look like it. Good. Okay, we'll go to item number 5, our calendar bills. First one is table item. Approval of budget adjustment for Mary Shady County Department to artist for Stadium 250 event. Then we're going to keep that tabled. We'll go down to our third reading, ordinance number 1332, annexation of 1036.
Can I ask a question on that? I thought because we're voting on the budget, I thought we were going to untable that. And I thought Scott said that there's some more information.
Yeah, let's let me address that.
But untable, you need a motion to untable first.
Yeah. I'd make that motion that we untable that item.
Okay.
I second.
Okay.
Second.
There's been a motion to untable by Councilmember Johnson and a second by Councilmember Reeser. Any more comment? Should we Scott go ahead and tell us before we vote on it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the reason we came,
Do we need to finish that motion?
Yeah, we need to vote on
All in favor?
Can he tell us first what he plans and then we can.
Well, we have to take it off the table before he tells us.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? Okay, it carries. Go ahead.
yeah, so we originally came to you in advance because we knew we probably needed to book an artist sooner than later. But we are currently working with about 4 different groups who are interested in sponsoring. So what we'll do is go ahead, you've untabled it. You can vote as needed, but we'll probably come back if we get that interest from those groups to help sponsor this. We'll come back for a budget adjustment in the future. So.
Okay, perfect.
So
Okay.
do we, go ahead,
No, go ahead.
go ahead first.
Oh, so it's not an action item then because you're saying that we're going to just do a budget adjustment later.
Correct.
And so in the, when we approve our budget, is it just in there with what we typically spend on fireworks?
That's
Is
what
all
we'd
in the
ask you to
budget?
do is just look at that, which is 7,500, which is what we currently do. The county matches that. And then of course we have Stones and Toyota that does the rest. So.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to vote on this, whether we want to approve it or not.
I just want to bring up first, Scott, use over there at the meeting, city meetings, the state's pushing really heavily for each community throughout the state to support the 250 celebration of our country. They're going to give funding to each community, to counties. I know we talked to the mayor about possibly talking to Sugar County to get their funds for this thing. So we're all together in our whole area here for our community to celebrate that 250. My question is on this, do we need to untable clear off? Do we need to have a vote on this or do we need to?
My suggestion after talking with Deb is that you do vote and go ahead and deny it. We'll come back later at a later date to do a budget adjustment. So
Because there's not enough information right now to
Correct.
do a good.
Yep, that would be my recommendation.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to either approve or not approve the budget adjustment for this item.
I'll make that motion to not approve this event right now and wait till we get more information from the city to be able to make a right decision for our community on this
Okay,
action.
we have a motion by Councilmember C. Erickson to not approve the budget adjustment. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Johnson. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so that is
So I to not.
right.
Yes.
I do not approve. Say nay, you want to approve it. Okay. We have no second readings. We have a third reading on ordinance number 1332, annexation of 1036 McJohn Lane into the city of Rexburg. Is there any questions on this? We've had this for 2 readings, so. If you don't have any questions, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
Mr. President, I move that we approve ordinance number 1332 and consider it third read.
Okay, motion on the table by Councilmember Reeser. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Erickson. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's considered third read. Okay, oh, it's 6:30. Okay, now item number 6, we have a public hearing for fiscal year 2026 budget appropriation. Scott Miller, do you have any information on that for us?
Yeah, so. Now that we've. Probably talked a lot about next year's budget with you already, and so I don't know that I have anything really new. But this is the ordinance as suggested by staff. Excuse me. Like I say, I mean, these are the same numbers that you've seen now for several weeks. If you guys have any questions at all, anything else that we need to dig into, I'm happy to take those questions, but other than that, I think we're ready to move forward with the hearing. So.
Can I just ask one, just to make sure? So besides that Stadium 250, nothing's changed since our work meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how public hearing works is we will have three times to comment. Those that are in favor of the proposal, those that are neutral to the proposal, and those who are against it. So we now open this public hearing. Now, anyone that's in favor of this budget appropriation, so come up. Seeing none, is there any that's neutral? Seeing none, okay. Anyone against it? The negative? Seeing none, is anybody online? Seeing none, I close this public hearing and entertain a motion to accept the fiscal year budget appropriation, 2026 budget appropriation.
Mr. President, I'll make that motion to accept the ordinance number 1333 and approve the budget with knowing that we have been clearly through this and as a committees and study this out. And so I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Colin Erickson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Reeser. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. The motion passes. For the budget appropriation, now we have another public hearing on the use of foregone tax levying authority and passage of fiscal year 2026. Passage for ordinance number, or resolution number 2025-06. Scott, you again.
Yep, that's me. Bring this up real quick. So. Again, this is on the use of foregone. let's see. Give me 1 second here. Essentially, what we've got is an opportunity to use the foregone for safety. Or, sorry, my mind just went blank for public safety. And let me bring up. I really thought that I had another spreadsheet attached in here. And let me just go back one more. And I do not. Let's go to sheet here. Excuse me. So what we're looking at is $26,959 of foregone property tax that we have access to. Again, proposed to be used for public safety personnel.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's about it in a nutshell. So, again, any questions that you guys may have, I'd be happy to answer those. So,
No question, but I just wanted to point out, this is our last year, right? That we can.
that's correct.
Yeah. So we
Yeah,
don't
this
have to
is
worry about it
this
anymore.
this uses it up,
Yep.
and so now foregone will be
Gone.
done. Yep, exactly right.
Won't be foregone.
Yes. Okay.
If there's no more questions, we'll open this public hearing. Same format as before, so I open this public hearing. Those that are in favor of us using let's see, resolution number 2025-06. Anyone in the neutral? Seeing none. Is there anybody in the negative? Anybody online? Seeing none, we'll close this public hearing. And I'll entertain a motion to accept resolution number 2025-06.
President,
Yes.
I can't see if there anybody online or not. Are they waving their hand back there? I can't see is there anybody online?
Yeah, there's several people.
Does anybody want?
Has anybody?
Okay, thank you.
So now I entertain a motion to accept resolution number 2025-06.
I can make that motion. We accept resolution number 2025-06 to use the rest of our foregone tax levying authority.
Have a motion by Councilmember Johnson. Or a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Colin Erickson. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That resolution passes. So whereas the resolution, we don't have to read it 3 times. So it's done. Item number 8A, committees. That the council's over. Start on this end. Councilman Reese, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, I haven't, it's since the last time we talked, haven't met with the Legacy Flight Museum to know what they're up to at this point, but certainly with the police, we're working diligently, obviously, as we've been talking about with the police station. And so that is just going completely according to schedule, and I'm excited for the city to get some more information and see what they think about the proposals. Other than that, business as usual.
Okay.
Our,
Johnson.
our committee has not met yet for Parks and Trails, although I did meet with John Lewis about his proposed fee changes. So I have information I can share when we get to that tonight. So.
On since the last meeting on the meetings I attended on for our committee, there's nothing else to be discussed here. The golf board did meet, but I was not able to attend that meeting, so I don't have any information to bring to the council at this time.
And I'll report that my committees, the ADA Oversight Board and the Mayor's Youth Advisory Board have not met, so I don't have anything to report, so thank you for that. Okay, we'll go to number 9A, Finance, Scott Miller again.
Me. You guys are gonna get sick of me. All right. Yeah, well, let's start with finance reports. I won't take too long on these this time. I don't think there's anything that's changed substantially since the last report, but you guys have access to those in your council packets. Yeah, like I say, there's not too much here to speak to that's any different from where we stood before. Our cash, let me bring up the other report real quick. Still above 51 million, and we are still keeping that invested to the extent that we can. And, don't have anything further to really go into on this, but if you guys have any specific questions, gladly entertain those.
Scott, I just briefly seen several up there that's pushing up to 75% supposed to be spent right now, or close to. There's some pushing that. Just have them be aware of where they should be and what we don't want to see them to go over that budget when it gets down to the end of it. So they're still good right now, but there's a few that's pushing close.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, like you say, we're at 75% on a lot of these. We're pushing over it on golf course operations. And then fiber construction has been pretty, sorry. And that's just because we ended up doing more with that than anticipated originally, so.
And weren't some of these done, the projects were done before, so the whole amount went out, which puts it at a higher percentage of use. Right?
Anything else that you guys would like to drill down on?
Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Doesn't look like it.
And I'm gonna let him fix this real quick. Do we need to?
It's not streaming.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. All right. We have all right. The budget adjustment for this year. And what we've got going on here is that we received a grant for $50,000 for the police to use, and it's intended that they would be used for some computer equipment, specifically some laptops or tablets, and in order to buy all that's needed, the total expense would be $98,000. So there is $48,000 that we would have to spend from the general fund contingency, excuse me, which would still leave $85,500 for carryover. So we're well within. Oh, absolutely. Okay. But of course, we do need approval to spend the entire 98,000, so budget adjustment is for that full amount, so.
Any questions for Scott on this?
I got a question, Scott.
Uh-huh.
So on this grant, is it a certain time frame that it has to be spent?
You know,
Trying to figure out, because we have our budget, we're just going over for starting in October. Does it have to be spent before October? So we need this budget adjustment?
I actually don't know the answer to that. Do you?
Well, I don't know about the budget. The reason that, we were trying to move on this is because of the Panasonic rep that I've been dealing with says that the tariffs are gonna go up. And so we were able to lock in this price with hopefully your guys' approval for that. Now, the time frame I don't know, but the longer that we wait on these, then that amount is gonna go up considerably.
And I do know, and I do know that their old computers or old laptops are way outdated. We probably should be moving on this sooner than later. So I just want to make sure that there wasn't a time frame that I see right now, we need to do it now because the price is going to go way up. We'll be moving more budget adjustment if we had to get it. So.
Do you know if this is enough for all of the patrol vehicles to have a new laptop or just ones that are outdated, or are they all outdated? I don't know if you know.
So they're all outdated by
Several
probably
years.
a decade now. They're kind of pieced together. Not really running what we need them to do. These laptops would allow us to outfit all of our patrol division, and then we wouldn't have any extras, but we're also hiring a new officer in October, and that would be 23 total is what we're asking for right now. The nice thing about these too is we're purchasing a docking system so that in the future, when our desktops do go down, they automatically plug into the network and the officers can do all their reports and all the programs based off of those laptops. So that's also one of the benefits of going to this.
And I think that it's a good thing to point out that we got a grant for half this, so that's a good thing. We're outdated laptops. I just want to make sure that wasn't in the time frame that we had to have it. So I'm gonna make a motion if we're ready for make a motion.
Ready to make a motion? Go ahead.
I make a motion to do the budget adjustment for the police department for the laptops and use the grant money and be able to get enough to facilitate our police department with their laptops they need.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the budget adjustment. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Reeser. By the way, the motion was made by Councilmember Colin Erickson. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Yeah, that motion passes. Number 3, monthly police facility project update. Who's that? Is that you, Scott, again?
That is me again. I'll
Man of
have Scott
the
join
hour.
with this one though. So we do have some new information for you. And sorry, can you guys hear me okay, or am I
You probably need the blank.
probably not broadcasting on the stream? Right. Okay, so just, I think you guys have seen this before. This is the cost estimate for the proposed new police station. Actually, sorry, give me 1 second here. Actually, want to start with a different spreadsheet real quick if I can. This is the one I want. Okay. I'm going to skip ahead to the third page on this. I'm going to see if I can make this bigger so that actually I'll see it. I wanted to focus on this grid over here. Let's make that a little bigger still. So really the options that we have now are to, and when we say current, what we're saying is the current need, meaning the next 10 years. So you're looking at what would it take to make us okay for the next decade? The second option is kind of the same as the first, except that we add a shell that allows us to expand appropriately, that gets us through the next 2 decades. The third option is one where we just build so that we are set for the next 2 decades. And the fourth option is that we only build what we currently need for the next decade, but that it's a 2-story building. We feel like that based on the space that we have access to, that the 2-story is not the right way to go. And also the fact that we can do the shell and have the ability to expand when needed, again, with the impact fees and any general fund transfers or general fund monies that need to go to that as that need comes up. We feel that's the best path forward. So the second option is the one that we are recommending. So give us that shell.
Can I ask a question on that?
Absolutely.
So the shell, does it just have like more offices? I mean, when it's built out, is it mostly just offices or?
My understanding is that it can absolutely be used that way. Why don't I turn to you to answer that?
So currently that shell space is just an empty shelled space, so it's just currently gray space. So you have like, I don't know, she's yelling at. There we go.
I just need your name too.
Oh, Brian Coleman, I'm a principal at Hummel Architects. So that, like I was saying, that gray space currently is just built out as an empty space. It would just be conditioned, but it would have no finishes. It'd just be big empty space. The idea is that, we don't know exactly what would go in there in the future, but it would be planned for either additional apartment or a different department, expansion of a current department, a new department, or offices or anything like that such. So it's just wide open, and whatever that need is in 20 years, that we'd be able to incorporate that into that space.
And we're looking at 20 years on that, but if it happened to have, 15 years or 12 years, depending on how fast the city grows, we can automatically put that right in without having to add on to the building and utilize that shell space, right?
That's correct. So the idea is that that's already incorporated in the building. It's the cheapest square footage that you're going to be able to build at the time because it's incorporated with the building. And then you just have to come back and fit out that space that's already incorporated with the building, with it being at any point you start needing it.
No, thank you.
We have someone online with their hand raised. Just one moment, I'll try to pipe in their audio.
We're not taking public comment right now, so.
Okay.
But we'll invite, who's ever online who wants to make a comment, we'll invite you to come to one of the open houses or one of the town halls that they have, and that'll, and then they can, we can address your concern or your question at that time.
Scott, would you give those dates? Would you give those dates again? So there are people online or I can do it if you want me to, So we just finished one earlier tonight, 5:30 for the public. We'll have another one in August 11th with the police department. We'll open house there. And then August 20th, we'll have another city council here with ordinance going.
Yeah, we'd also just invite all members of the public to go to the website as well, where a lot of additional information is, and we will be updating that frequently as things happen. So,
and just so the public knows and they understand, we're trying to be very, very transparent on this. We're trying to get out every information possible to the public so they can make a very wise decision. for our community and for our police department as we move forward with this. So please jump online, look at the information we have out there, and what we're trying to give to everybody there.
Yeah, and they can even submit questions on that website. So they can put whatever question they have tonight, they can put that on there and we can get back to them. And that'll be part of the frequently asked questions as well on that website. So
And we highly encourage the public also to make sure, if it's all possible, to come to the open house. Then you can see what's going to be done and hopefully get your questions asked or answered in person. So.
And one other thing I want to bring up from an earlier meeting, it will be a police department designed as a police department from start to finish. It won't be going in and utilizing another office building and try to, I guess, I'd say piece patch like we have done to do it. But this will be a police department. We will not house people there. We'll still continue to take people to the jail, to Madison County Jail. This will be just for administration and interviewing and so forth. But if it needs to be housed, it'll be done at the Madison County Jail, just so the public understands that.
And I just have one more question too. The animal shelter is just staying
Yes,
there,
the
right?
animal
Yeah.
shelter is staying as it is. Correct. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to walk you through is some options that our bond counsel has given us. And one of the things that actually we found very intriguing was that there is a 15-year option, 15-year term. And you can see with all three of these options that the amount that we're borrowing is $16,750,000. And let me go back to the open tabs here. Well, let's walk through this first. What I really wanted to kind of get down to is what this looks like down here in this area. With the interest rate of 3.92, which is what the 15-year bond would be. The tax impact per $100,000 of taxable value would become $61.51 a year. So in just looking at how that translates to a typical individual, this is just for illustration purposes. We know not everybody's houses are worth the same amount, but if you take a house that's worth just over 400,000, less the homeowner's exemption, this is the amount that they'd be taxed on, this almost 290,000, meaning that the annual impact would be this $170, excuse me. Try not to add more than I need to.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's comes up to about $15 a month is kind of what we're seeing there. Now, granted, like I say, not everybody's houses are worth the same, so this is just an illustration. This is probably the more pertinent number here, 61.51, understanding that that's what would be paid per 100,000 of taxable value. So, but we really feel like that with the duration and the impact that would have, that this is what we would recommend.
So, go ahead.
Oh, should we talk about why the bond would be less than?
Yeah, let's go into that real quick. So,
well, one thing also, I think maybe before you move off of this page is if you scroll up just a little bit,
uh-huh.
I think it shows us that savings of taxpayers in the end, the estimated interest costs. Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. The estimated interest costs. I mean, you can see that to go from a 20-year bond down to a 15-year bond, that's $3 million.
Yeah, exactly.
That we're saving the taxpayers. So,
exactly.
and we're getting we would get the same facility with the same everything But over the course of 15 years, that's a $3 million savings. And that's a pretty serious chunk of money. Plus you can see that the interest rate is significantly lower, going to a shorter bond as well. So I think those two reasons right there are a reason that we should really seriously look at seeing if we can't handle that 15-year note rather than go up any higher or any longer, I should say.
If you go 25 years, it's 7 million, almost 7 million. If you go the 25-year.
Yeah.
Is that 25 years or is that 30?
That's 25.
That's
Oh,
25.
25.
25,
That's
yeah.
that line. Yeah, yeah.
So it's
So I mean,
significant.
that's less than half of the interest that we would pay. So
And just so the public is aware, I think instead of looking at Zillow and going off that value, let's look at what's on their tax, what comes in the mail. That will give them a lot better understanding about what this is going to cost.
Yeah.
Zillow, because it's going to be way higher to Zillow. So I just want to make sure we're doing apples to apples and not going like
No,
this. And
That is a very good point. Yeah, we taxed off of what you're assessed, and so what the tax assessed value of your house is what we need to look at. So this spreadsheet was put together by the bond council. So I think they just used that as kind of an idea. Again,
Yeah.
it was just an illustration, but yeah, you're not looking at what the Zillow is going to say your house is worth. It's what the county assessor says your house is worth, and that's typically
Less,
a little less. So
quite a bit less.
The one
So
thing,
can I join in for just a second, ask a quick question? This is Eric.
Oh, yeah, Eric, you can, you bet.
Okay.
thought-
My question was, do the cost estimates include the land acquisition?
no, and the reason for that is that that's come out of money that's already been saved.
Yeah, we already.
So
already
we executed on that land transaction here about a week and a half ago. So the value.
Yeah, but that's not a real accurate. That's not accurate about the total cost of the building, though. I mean, when you have to figure that all in. So we're not gonna bond for the amount of the land acquisition.
We're not.
We
No.
already, we paid for that.
Yeah.
The council approved that money. It's already paid for.
And there's other things that are not included in that as well. So this next spreadsheet that I'll show you will kind of walk through that whole the logic there.
I mean, yeah, I understand that, but when we're putting this out, we got to be transparent about what the total cost is.
That is a good point.
For the building,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it's
yeah,
in
and I
that.
think-
And it's on the next thing.
Yeah, Matt showed it in his stuff.
while Scott's
Right
getting that put up, the one thing we will just let the public know is, again, going to the website here in the next little bit, we will actually have that tax calculator on that for them. So they'll be able to go to the website, put in the tax value that they're given from Madison County, and they can actually see that. So.
So I don't know if Eric can see this slide right now, but this shows that exactly what the total estimate will be expense wise. We're only going to bond, we're looking at bond in 16,750,000. So this shows that to the public on this next page.
Yeah, exactly right. And Eric, are you able to see this okay?
It's in the packet. If you can.
Yes, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that helps. Thanks.
Certainly. And yes, to your point, yes, we will be transparent in what the total value of that facility is. So, but then in terms of what the bond that needs to pass, we will stick to the 16,750,000. There, as Matt has analyzed where we stand and what should be coming in, he feels very confident that this is a number that works, and that we are good to move forward with
So
where we're at.
So if I understand correctly, the total estimated everything is 19,625,000, but as a city, we've been able to save, and then of course with selling the building that the police are currently in, we'd be able to cover, what is that, about 15%? Is that an accurate? I'm not a math guy, so I'm just taking a shot in the dark. What is that, about 15% of the total cost? We've been able to save and raise without having to bond for it, so.
Yeah. Yep, that seems correct. So, yeah, that's where we stand. So, let me bring this next spreadsheet up. Or excuse me, document. Some days technology just does not want to cooperate. I apologize.
The
Yeah, I need to double check this. I think there's two versions of this in the file, so let me just make sure we've got the right one here very quickly. Yes, this is the right one. Okay, so this then would be the proposed ordinance to put out to vote, put on the ballot for the bond. So here we've got the bond amount. Again, it's just the bond amount. It's not the entire amount for the facility. We recognize that it is subject to the approval of 2/3 of the qualified electors or the public. Here is the total estimated amount that we showed on the other spreadsheet. The bond election would be this November 4th. And then here would be the language on the bond, or on the ballot, excuse me. So here we've got the 15-year bond. We show what the interest rate would be, the amount of the bond, the anticipated interest. So the combined amount of the interest and the bond together. And I apologize if anybody's not seeing this on the screen. Let me just go through these numbers really quick. So the interest rate is 3.92%. The bond amount again is 16,750,000, excuse me. With interest of 5,839,638. And the total combined of principal and interest together would be 22,589,638. We put the number that I mentioned earlier, that essentially what that means is that per 100,000 of taxable value that the taxpayer would pay $61.51 per year.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
So are we required to share our other outstanding debts on, is that?
We are, yeah. In fact, we had left that off. I'm glad you brought that up because we actually had thought that we were okay to say that we had no other general obligation debt because we don't.
Mm-hmm.
But the bond council came back to us and said, sorry, you've got to include it. We actually debated whether we should include a comment that said, but that we have no general obligation debt, but the more wordy we get with it, the more that we could potentially confuse people. So we are obligated to show that we do have that revenue bond for the water department, water fund. So,
Mr. President, I wonder if we should kind of go back, have Scott jump up and just kind of tell how we got to this point, so the public's aware of the amount of meetings and stuff that we got to this point to ask for a bond. I think that might be good for the public to understand some of that information and what we've done. I mean, we met with the chief. We've really tried to look at the best options and how we're to this point to ask them for a bond to the public. Would that be okay?
Yes, I think it'd be a good idea.
So I appreciate that. So we've actually been saving for a number of years, knowing that with growth and to better serve the community, we probably need to be looking at this. So that's number one, is that we've actually, can you hear me? Is it on? So we've been saving for quite a while, actually, impact fees and other things to actually begin this process. So we can go back a few years, but I think ultimately bring everybody forward. We've gone through an official bid process to get an architect and a general contractor on board to come and look at this. We wanted to make sure that from the beginning they were with us so that we knew exactly how much this was going to cost. We weren't taking stabs in the dark. But through that process, after they were selected, we have been meeting now for months to go through and look at programming, excuse me, of space with the police so that we understand what exactly is going to be required going forward to best serve our community. And so they've gone through and done that through a series of meetings, as you mentioned, over a period of months that we've been working through that. And so we've been able to narrow this down based on all those meetings and those conversations to what you're seeing right now, which is that amount for the bond. We've also obviously purchased the land, which has already been mentioned. That in and of itself was another process going through and identifying where that would go to best serve the community allocation. So yeah, there's been a lot that's been going on. Again, we've been saving money for a number of years to actually begin this process and look at it and make sure that we can do all that we can. So
Thank you. I think it's good information to get out there and understand that we've been really trying to save for this, and that's how we was able to purchase the land. So thank you.
Can I?
Yep, go ahead.
I know there's probably nothing you can do, but I was just thinking, like, if I was a resident, I would be so confused why in the middle it's talking about that outstanding water debt. Is there no way to make it more clear? Like, I would be like, why? I don't know. It just seems so confusing. Like, why are you talking about this in the middle of? But maybe I'm the only one that's confused.
I think that
There's probably no other place to put it, or
So does state law require that we?
yeah, so
as a
bond,
city-
right. So bond counsel, who we are working very closely with to make sure that we are completely transparent and legal and above board and all those other things. Simply pointed out that while we don't have any other general obligation bonds, we do have that revenue debt bond, even though it's paid for by the water, it's still there. So when we asked, okay, well, it is a little confusing, right, as you kind of read through this. They gave us that specific language and told us where to put it.
okay.
We can definitely ask again because it is a little
Just if it even just said we're required to.
Right. Yes, it's one of those requirements. Even though it doesn't have an impact on this bond, it's just, again, full disclosure that there is that debt out there, even though it's not a general obligation bond. We can definitely have a conversation about, is there a better place to put it?
Or
'Cause
just
it is
like one line
confusing.
that explains it so they don't think
Yeah,
that that's like part of
right.
what we're asking for, or
Right. And as Scott mentioned, we thought about, putting in, this is not a general obligation bond,
but then it gets all wordy and
right.
everything.
So there is a balance for sure, trying to make sure that they have enough information, but they also don't get confused.
Yeah.
But it is a little confusing. So we'll continue to work with bond counsel and see if there's a way that we can adjust that. So
exactly. Yes. Yeah, even just moving that potentially could help. So
Yeah. so it's
I'll
not
get with them
right in
and
the middle of.
see if we can.
Yeah, it's just, it like breaks up,
It looks
Yeah.
talking about.
It's a part of.
Yeah, that's what I think. If I was a resident, I'd be like, are you saying this money's included in that? I don't know. I might be a little confused. So.
No, that's a very good point. So we'll reach out to bond council and see what options we have that way to clean that up.
We don't want to be like the federal government, just adding everything on. Add on, so.
That's right.
Hey, Scott, maybe we need to go back to the previous sheet you had and show the square footage.
Yeah.
How many square footage that we're gonna ask? People are gonna ask how big a building we're in.
So I'm going to cheat real quick and just make sure that I bring up the right. Yeah. Okay. So here's where we can see that square footage. And what we're showing here is that with the actual facility itself, with the finished space, we would have 24,000 square feet. That additional gray shell, excuse me, would give us another 5,500 square feet. And then we would also have, there's an outbuilding that's part of this facility that would give us another 3,400 square feet with some additional space, 759 square feet. So that's what we're looking at as far as the new. The old space that we do have currently is 20,460, but it is worth noting that some of that space is really not usable for the purposes that the police have. That building was a repurposed building from, I think it was the power company at one point, and so there's been a lot of adjustments and a lot of things that have happened, and so really when you look at this, the square footage, the fact that we'll have as much as we do with the new building, and it will be very much more effective. Just mean it'll be helpful to the police department going forward.
So that looks like to me, it's not a huge amount bigger, 7,000 feet bigger, including the outer building, but we're going to utilize it so it's a police department, so you can utilize every square foot.
Exactly.
Instead of piece patching it.
Exactly.
And I think Chief
Rhodes?
9,500 square feet is the old city shop that's being used as vehicle storage, and so it's.
And I know a question we're gonna get asked, but what's gonna be in the metal outbuilding? What's that gonna be used for?
So the metal outbuilding is going to be for storage and non-essential programs. So the police department itself, International Building Code will require that facility to be built to a risk category 4 building. So there's some substantial things that get built into that building, but the things in that outbuilding don't necessarily fall under that risk category 4 code requirement. And so we can build that outbuilding for cheaper than we would have incorporated into the main building itself. And so that was kind of the strategy there, is to get rid of, we can move programmatic police operation stuff out of the main building. We could build that in a side building that wouldn't meet necessarily the risk category 4 building. So that one's going to be anything that doesn't require the police to be operations. So like I said, there's storage out there, there's a conference and training room, those types of things would be out on that outbuilding.
And just so everybody knows, on the council that wasn't on the committee that set through those, we just felt like it was a lot smarter with the use of money by doing that and not have to pay such a high square footage cost and putting it all in one. And a lot of other police departments throughout the state has done that, well, throughout the nation have done that, just trying to get more for the bang of the buck. So we thought it was a smart thing to look at.
And also, if I could just ask or request, I know the price per square foot, $578. It's significantly higher than building an office building or building a home. So I wondered if you could speak to that a little bit of the necessity or, of the higher price when we build a building like this for public safety, for police departments, and why it might be more expensive than some of those other construction buildings.
Yeah, you're right. So this is not your typical residential build or office building. This is a very strategic build. Like I said, this would be considered a risk category 4 building under the International Building Code, which means that this is an essential facility. So during any kind of event, either weather or whatever, this facility needs to remain operational. So in our area, really, we're looking for more seismic. So the structural of the building is actually more than what you would typically see. You're going to see some lateral stuff. You're going to see some seismic bracing. This is also a police station, so there's a lot of costs that go into technology, securities. So you're getting cameras, you're getting access control. So the building itself is built more rigorous than any kind of an office building, and then the technology itself is also more expensive. And with it being a risk category 4 building, there are some redundant systems. So if power went out, we're having a backup generator. And so those types of things is where you're going to see some of those higher square footage costs than you would see in like a typical office building.
Okay, thank you.
And also to keep the accreditation, the national accreditation.
Correct. Yeah, this is
To have
a
that.
built facility for the police.
Yeah.
I have one question. Is that okay?
Right.
And I know it's probably pretty dumb because you said other facilities around the country are doing those metal outbuildings. So are they, I know like when we toured the Idaho Falls station, they had things in place to like protect the officers from any kind of harm. So does that metal outbuilding also have protection?
Correct. So that the metal outbuilding would be behind the secured fence and stuff. So it wouldn't allow public access and would be behind all the secure
Okay.
facilities.
Is there anything else?
No, I think this is
Staff recommend.
where we stand, and so
Okay. So it moves us to item number E, 3E, for staff recommendation to approve the Rexburg Police Facility Bond Election Ordinance to seek funding for construction of a new police facility in the November 2025 municipal election. Do I have a motion to accept this ordinance? Designated as ordinance number 1334.
and just to clarify, that also provides us with the ability to update that language that we discussed earlier to make sure that it's as clear as it can be.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we approve the Rexburg Police Facility Bond Election Ordinance that will be on the ballot on November 4th, 2025.
Consider it first read, right?
Yeah, I think that does.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Johnson. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Colin Erickson. Any more discussion?
I just have one more question. I just want to know. I was trying to remember on one of the sheets. So is that 100,000, like, is that just the fee to get it on the ballot? There
Let's
was like
see,
100,000 on one of those sheets. I can't remember which one
Let's
now.
go back to, I think it was.
I
this
just want to know in
one
case anyone asks me.
Right there.
Right there,
Good.
fees, et cetera.
here. I apologize, but I don't know the answer to that. I will find the answer and let you guys know. So. We don't have that information, do we, Scott?
Well, just what Matt's put there. So, I mean, that includes quite a bit with the bond
All the
council
fees.
and those things.
Okay.
But yes, that should be all inclusive.
Okay.
Eric, if you're online, you're welcome to vote with us. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, ordinance passed and ordinance number 1334 and consider it first read.
Erickson.
Can you guys ask him?
Item number 4. Thank you, Scott.
Mr. President,
Yes.
we got a question. Eric, have you been here for the whole meeting or did you just get on now?
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. I didn't participate in the previous votes because I couldn't figure this thing out. But I've listened to the whole meeting. So I probably shouldn't vote, I'm guessing, because I'm really not there.
Okay.
We'll leave that up to Mariana. She can.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
Hey,
We'll take your vote, but
It's above our pay grade.
Yeah.
Want to review the proposed utility fee changes and set a public hearing for August 6th. Got you on board again.
Yeah, like I say, you guys are gonna get sick of me.
It's a change from that. No. That was a joke.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, let me start with these.
And we've got to do the utility fee changes and the proposed fee changes. So whichever is easiest for you to do first.
Okay. I'm gonna come here to just. Let's see, and I do have some notes here. Let me pull this up real quick. Excuse me. Excuse me, I guess I don't have those. Now, my understanding that you guys have seen this before, is that correct?
Yes.
Was that in the city council meeting?
During the.
Another meeting.
well, I know that we talked about doing a full study. I don't know where that's been the last discussion we had, that you guys are gonna do the full study on other areas and come back to us on it. Do we have that yet?
We do not. So so part of what Matt did with this is that he went and looked at what information we did have. And so that study will be done probably in a couple of months, and we can make adjustments at that point.
Because
Might take a couple months, probably a few months.
I would have a hard time voting until we have that study and understand what we're looking at from other jurisdictions, because that's what Matt told us he was gonna do and come up to us as we're looking at increasing or decreasing or where we're at with that.
So
Keith, can you answer?
Don't you just do that?
Can you respond to that?
So, I mean, this is based on how we've been doing the study over time. So with the new numbers coming in, our recommendation is to move forward with how we've been doing it. And then once we get the numbers with the new study, then we can analyze and see if there's a shift that needs to happen later, instead of trying to push that off to a later date. And so just continuing on with what we've done in the past in the same time manners that we've done it, we felt like it was appropriate to move forward this way. And then once we get that data in potentially a couple months, then we'll take a look at it, analyze it, and then come back with a recommendation for the city council. Because it's really going to be just looking at a few items overall on that.
Well, there's quite a decrease up for the homeowner.
What I was gonna say too is, it looks like all but one, there's a significant, or at least some kind of a decrease, and some of them are significant. So it'd be nice to pass those savings on as quickly as possible, and then after that study, fine tune it a little bit.
Readjust.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but I know that Matt did say that he's gonna get a study done. I just want to make sure we get that done and
yeah, and that's
come up
still in the
exactly
works.
what it is and not just
Yeah.
a guess.
Yeah, it's fundamentally, it's going to take long enough that trying to wait until that's all done is going to put us behind. And so one of the things you can see here, the lighting is going away. And so that's where you have one of the big changes.
And I think any savings for the citizens is great.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So the changes are kind of pretty similar in all the categories, and so but yeah, here's Matt's recommendations. Let me just read these out for those that are attending virtually. So for sewer, large rate decreases in volume and base for Rexburg users. Rates remain untouched for Teton and Sugar City on treatment. For water, reduced base by 6.68% and increased volume rate by 2.28%. And then for garbage, bill 100% of recycle costs directly to each curbside customer. 3.81% increase to 90-gallon weekly pickup customers, and 5.7% decrease for large volume 3-yard customers. So that's kind of what's driving some of these changes that you're seeing up here on the sample bills. And again, this is all we're doing here is setting the public hearing. And so we are not locked in tonight. This is really just, we're gonna need to advertise for the public hearing. And so these will be what gets advertised. But if miracles happen and that study is done a lot sooner than what I'm anticipating, then that could certainly be part of that final budget or the final the public hearing, excuse me.
Could I ask one question? So, and Keith, don't you do these studies like routinely every 5 years
You're
or?
talking about for these rate utility studies?
Yeah, the one that we're waiting for. Have you done one before?
We haven't.
No.
We have not done
Okay.
one since I've been here.
Okay.
We've always calculated them in-house and done it. And so we just felt like it was important to go out and have an outside consultant come and look at how we were doing it, just making sure we're still on the right track.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to set the public hearing for the utility fee changes for August 6th, 2025.
Mr. President, I propose that we set the public hearing for August 6th, 2025 for the proposed utility fee changes.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Reeser. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Colin Erickson. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So the public hearing is set for August 6th. Now on the review the proposed fee changes and set the public hearing for August 6th, 2025 on the proposed fee change.
Say aye, Councilmember Erickson. I didn't hear your aye. Can you say?
Eric, are you still there?
Did we decide that it was better that since he wasn't on before that he wasn't gonna?
Yeah, I'll vote if you want me to, but
You can continue,
Yeah.
just the other ones I have you not, but you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, well, I then.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's see.
The one for the fee changes, right?
Yeah, so now we've got the general fee changes. Okay, let's see if I can make this a little bigger.
And this was in our packets, by the way. too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I may rely on other city staff that's present here tonight to help answer any questions that you guys may have. I've not been super involved in a lot of these.
And then John Lewis called me yesterday and he asked me to fill in about the Rexburg Rapids one. If anyone has any questions. So.
Perfect, thank you. So with that, one of the big changes that we've got is in golf.
And I'll make the comment from the golf board. They've really discussed this out, the whole golf board, and agree that this is what we should be doing on the fee changes. So the golf board is all full in favor of this.
let's see. We did have some changes like Councilmember Johnson brought up. We do have some changes in the Rexburg Rapids that was trying to be cover our costs a little bit more appropriately.
You do want to address that?
Yeah, so I think one of the problems, and that's one of the problems with golf too, is that I think we kept our programs so low for so long that we are way more competitive than we should be in a lot of areas, which is what golf is dealing with, so that we're getting an influx of people from surrounding areas because we are so much cheaper. So that's some of what golf's trying to address, and the same with Rexburg Rapids. And so like one of the big things he proposed was doing like a little card for residents, county residents, which I guess with urban renewal, having, using some of urban renewal, I don't know if anyone here can tell me, like Scott, that's why we have to do it countywide instead of just city. Is it, because I had a question on that. Is that right?
Yeah, we'd have to look into that. That's the first I've heard. I couldn't find out for you.
Okay, yeah. Because
I had not heard that either.
okay.
so.
I was wondering why, because we fund it, but I think with the urban renewal money, probably there was some county money in there at some point.
Yeah, we can.
So that's something I'd really like to check on because, the
And
city is paying the subsidy each year. So, but he was saying right now, like general admission is $8. So for residents, it would move up to $8.50. But then if you were a non-county resident, it would be $10. And then you could get a card, which I think he's thought about this an awful lot. I was pretty impressed with little details he'd thought of to have a way to, online, you could get the card. You have to renew it every 2 years. So he's hoping that it would work, that then you would keep that card if you were a county resident. And then people complain about the lines being so long. So if you were a county resident and you had one of those cards, there would be like a line just for them so that they could get in faster. And then it's reflected also in the punch passes and things. You can see that, some of them are more for a non-county resident than a county resident, but you'd need to prove that you were a resident and then you'd get the discount.
And that's one thing, because we bring up the types of documentation that you would need to have, but it would become burdensome. And I think that's why John's come up with this card idea, which is a great idea.
Yeah.
Because then it just goes by much faster. And I wonder too, if the discussion on the county ties back to trying to be consistent with the golf course where the county is involved.
Maybe, but yeah, the county funds part of the golf course, but they don't fund part of Rexburg Rapids. So I think it must have to do with that urban renewal money. But yeah.
So where would the resident get one of those passes? Would it be at the golf course? They could then prove just once that they're a resident of Madison County, then they'd get that card and then they'd carry it with them for every other time that they'd go to the golf course?
That's the idea. And really it's the Rexburg Rapids at this point that's really moving forward with that. It would be nice to see the golf course do something similar, but I don't think they've discussed it yet.
Well,
it does show here on the golf one. I was kind of on that on my iPad that it says there's a 20% discount, but it just says for residents only. So,
right.
So
yeah, the card,
but they do get the break.
They just got to prove that they're resident.
Yeah,
they just got to prove they're resident. Okay. Okay.
And in that budget meeting, they said, if you care enough to get that discount, then you'll find a way to bring proof of residence.
Okay. So they wouldn't be issuing those at the golf course, like I said. They'd be issuing those at Rexburg Rapids where they're the car. Okay. Okay.
Yep,
Thank you for that clarification.
So ultimately what we're looking at here is that we are having to bump up our rates, but we're really trying to go turn around and then be able to save the residents from really having to take that hit. So
let me ask a question on this, and it'll probably go back to Lieutenant on the parking. We talked about communicating back to them and trying to come up with a more simplified way of parking. Did we get that worked out at all on the parking fee?
Are you talking about the program that we were looking at?
No, just on the signage, on not having so many different ones, but get more of a general, so it's easier for your officers to be able to deal with.
We're still
Working on that.
working. We're in the same place as far as the permit locations, time parking and university parking.
Okay. We just want to make it better and easier for you. Okay.
All right. Well, again, this is really
It's just a
set-
proposal, so I just had a question for them, so it's all good now.
Okay.
Okay, so we need a motion to set the public hearing for the proposed fee changes for August 6th, 2025.
I'll make that motion to set the public hearing for August 6th for the proposal fee changes.
Okay, have a motion by Colin Erickson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Johnson. Any discussion?
Just that,
Okay.
so we'll be able, before that public hearing, we'll get more information and things like, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed? No opposed. Okay. Item number 6, review the amended budget for fiscal year 2025 and set the public hearing for August 6th, 2025. There are a bunch of public hearings on August 6th again.
Let's see. Okay. Here is the, let me make that bigger so you guys can see it. Hopefully that's readable. Oh, and I just broke it. Nope, here we go. So let me start, let's go down to the bottom first here. So really what we're looking at is that our original budget was the 92 million. We have a $2,138,700 budget adjustment, which would bring our budget to $94,408,500. So let's go through and kind of look at where we need to make those adjustments at real quick. So there are multiple items in the general fund, the police laptops that we talked about earlier, building maintenance remodel, additional garden boxes paid with a contribution, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's quite a lot in here. You guys have probably looked at this in your council packet, but do we have any specific questions on the general fund budget adjustment?
Any questions for Scott?
We're just balancing here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which we have to do legally. So, okay.
So then, yeah, for streets, we've got $84,600 adjustment because we received a grant for traffic signal software. So again, it's similar to what we talked about before, where we just need to be able to have approval to spend that money that has come through as a grant. So we have a small budget adjustment in recreation for Frisbee golf tournaments. Again, that's offset by revenues. Emergency services, small tools for ambulance, again, coming from a private contribution.
So haven't we approved all of these budget adjustments at some time during the year?
We have.
We just have to set the public hearing so we can have a.
Yeah, right.
So
since we've already approved, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, so that's ultimately what we're doing with this public hearing, and so, and again, that would be for August 6th.
Okay.
That
So I'll entertain a motion to set the public hearing for the amended budget for fiscal year 2025 for August 6th, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Reeser. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that passes. So we'll have a public hearing for that on August 6th, 2025. Okay, anything else, Scott?
I think that's it from me.
Anybody have any questions for Scott? Hey, not Keith, you're up.
We'll give Scott a little break. So I just have 3 items, bring before the council. Last time, we just only inadvertently had put 2 street sweepers on the list for surplus. We really have 3 that were surplus, and so I have the 3rd one on the list tonight. So I'm just seeking council approval to surplus that 3rd.
You found another one, huh?
Found another one. Give them birth.
Okay, can you entertain a motion to surplus this item?
I'll make that motion.
A motion made by Colin Erickson. Second, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
You can go ahead and get rid of that then.
Okay, next item is, we are seeking approval to go after a federal grant through the FAA, and this is just for airport pavement maintenance. So we have some funds that are going to be expiring, and we need them up. And so we're going to do the pavement maintenance out of our existing airport that needs to be done. And so the grant is for $435,494. And we would be on the hook with splitting with the county for about $10,887. So.
And that's split with the county, so our share would be 5, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
So I'll entertain the motion for Keith to go ahead and get this, apply for this grant.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Colin Erickson. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Apply for that baby.
The last one, at least for me, is so we went through. We received a grant called the Safe Streets for All, and part of that with that grant, we have funds available to do a comprehensive safety action plan for our entire city. And so we sent out seeking proposals. We had several consulting firms give us proposals on that. And the committee's recommendation was Keller and Associates to do the safety action plan for us. So we're seeking council approval to enter into contract negotiations with Keller for that portion of the grant.
I have a motion for Keith to go ahead and engage with Keller's.
I'll make that motion to engage with Keller Association on this safety comprehensive plan.
Okay. Motion made by Colin Erickson. Is there a second?
Aye, second.
Second by Councilmember Reeser. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Keith, any information or any news on that $2 million grant that we on connecting up our community?
Yeah. So we had a conversation with them last week, and we're still on hold. So it hasn't been denied, but we haven't been given the go-ahead with it. So we're still in a waiting pattern, if you will, for that, unfortunately. It's definitely a need for our community to look at those connections, but at this point, we're still waiting on that grant.
Thank you for finding that out. It is definitely needed, and we're hoping
Yes.
it'd be a big push ahead
Yeah,
if we
it'd
could
be
get
good.
that.
Could you tell us, the council, on the Trejo lights?
Yeah, on the Trejo lights. So we've got everything over to the railroad, and so we're just waiting on the railroad company to get and they've got we've sent them over the funds to get the equipment needed in order to connect the railroad preempt with the signal. So that way, when a train is coming through, it changes the signal to red. So we don't have competing a green light and the flashing red light. So.
And they don't get in a hurry for nobody, do they?
No, it tends to take, unfortunately, more time than we anticipate.
Thanks. Any more questions for Keith?
Okay.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Yeah, there's no mayor's report since the mayor's not here. Don't have any items for consideration. The consent calendar for minutes of the July 2nd, 2025 meeting and approve the payment of the city of Rexburg bills. And I'm going to make a motion that we accept the consent calendar. Is there a second?
Sorry, you want to second it? I'll second it.
Second by Colin Erickson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 It's done. Is there anything else for the council? If not, appreciate everybody being here. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.